If you had a superpower, what would you want it to be? Flying? Laser beams out your eyes? Invisibility? On stage, we don't get superpowers as cool as these, but we still do have some really important ones. Tapping into these superpowers is what will help you stand out on stage. I was working with a client called Jen, who is a big nerd, just like me. Marvel, Star Wars, you name it, she's into it. And what she was trying to do in her speaking was she was trying to embrace herself more, to express herself more authentically on stage, to get out of the corporate straitjacket form of presenting. And one of the things I talked about was how she could lean into that nerdery, lean into that superhero stuff, lean into the Star Wars stuff. And actually, for one of her speeches, she embraced this by having a Batman costume on. And she was embracing the identity of Batman and talking about how Batman is just an ordinary, regular person who has a mission, who has skills, and dedicates themselves to using those skills to fulfill that mission. And it was a fantastic meta example because, number one, dressing up and getting into costume helped Jen feel more relaxed. But also, by playing to her strengths, by leaning into topics and hobbies and interests and passions that she already had, she was bringing the best of herself out on stage. And that's the message that I want to hammer home in this video today, is that you already have these speaking superpowers. It's about learning to bring them out from within you. I would say there are three key superpowers that set speakers apart. The best speakers have learned to tap into and embrace these superpowers, and you can tap into and embrace these superpowers too. The first speaking superpower is courage, because good speaking is all about pushing yourself into situations that are outside of your comfort zone, pushing yourself onto new stages that you haven't spoke on before, that intimidate you, speaking to new audiences who you don't know, who aren't your usual community, your usual tribe, accepting different topics and opportunities to express your message in a new way. All of these things are scary. All of these have those nerves with them. All of them have these doubts with them. If you look at some of the great speakers in history, if you look at someone like Martin Luther King, when Martin Luther King is standing up there delivering "I Have a Dream," he is nervous about that speech. He's nervous about, is this speech going to have the outcome and the result that I want it to? If the greatest speech of the last century came with a little bit of nerves, then why would you think that any of your speeches wouldn't come with nerves as well? And that's why courage is the first key superpower of a speaker, because you've got to learn how to put yourself into these situations again and again. You've got to face that fear again and again. And it's not that the fear goes away, you just get used to the habit and discipline of putting yourself forward, feeling uncomfortable, feeling those nerves. And as a famous book said, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. The second speaking superpower is about embracing your personality, allowing that to come through on stage. The biggest mistake that I see in not just beginner speakers, but actually fairly established speakers as well, is they feel they have to adopt this persona, this avatar, this caricature, rather than just being up there and expressing themselves, expressing who they really are. There is not a successful speaker personality. There are many successful speaker personalities. Some speakers are really loud, someone like your Amanda Gorman, the poet laureate, she has this booming, resounding oratory. And then you've got someone quiet and measured, like the Dalai Lama. You've got someone who is very serious and in their thoughts and their logic and in their ideas, like a Simon Sinek. And then you have someone who is rip-roaring funny and hilarious, like Sir Ken Robinson. So you'll see that there are lots of different ways to be a successful speaker, and it's all about allowing your personality to come through on stage. Your personality is not a weakness, it's your strength. And I see so many people who are straitjacketing their personality when actually you've got to unleash the shackles and let that personality shine through. There are 8 billion other people on this earth. And the only thing that makes you different from all of them is you. your personality, your identity. So you've got to let that come through, because that's the only way you set yourself apart as a speaker. It's the only way you make yourself unique. And when you show up and shine in that way, the people who resonate with that personality, resonate with who you are going to find you. If you're wanting to learn how to speak more authentically and genuinely when you're on stage, then I've got an online course that can help you. My Superhero Speaker course is a 5-week online course designed to help you unlock your speaking superpowers and have a greater impact on your audiences. You can show up as you and have the impact that you want with your speaking. There's more details for the online course in the video description below. Click that link to find out more. Now let's look at one more speaking superpower you've got to tap into. The third speaking superpower is the cause. You will never have your greatest impact as a speaker if you're speaking only for yourself. Your accomplishments, your accolades, what you want from the speech. Great speeches are underpinned by great causes. It's no coincidence that many of the great speeches of history have been attached to social movements. The feminist movement, the civil rights movement, the gay liberation movement. That's because these causes bring the best out of speakers. If you're just speaking for yourself, you have that self-focus. A lot of the doubt and insecurity comes from that as well. But also, that lacks the vision. That lacks the expansiveness. That lacks the aspiration. But when you're talking about something bigger, you are creating that aspiration, you're creating that big vision, you're creating that great speech. You've got to have a cause that's underlying your speech. Who are you fighting for? Who are you championing? Who are you a hero to? Because when we're looking at superheroes, we often focus on the super, and we forget the hero part a little bit. We get caught up in the cool powers that they have. Yeah, they can shoot webs out their arms, or they've got super strength. Yeah, okay, the powers are great, but the reason why we really connect with the superheroes is that hero part of it. It's who they're fighting for. It's who they're saving. It's what they believe in. It's the evil that they're trying to fight. It's the injustice that they're trying to fight. That's what makes superheroes great. And that's what makes speakers great as well. You've got to understand what is the cause behind your speech. And if you have that driving cause, if you have that deep underpinning, your speeches are going to be bigger and better as a result. Move over, Marvel, because there's a new superhero in town, and that superhero, when you tap into all of these different speaking superpowers, can and will be you.